What's up, guys? Brian here. So, should you date single moms? And the answer is, and the obvious answer is probably best you just stay away for multiple reasons. Now, this thumbnail a little bit, obviously, this woman obviously clearly isn't as attractive and has this fupa and stuff. And so it's like, I'm kind of putting the red X here, and then I'm drawing this, like, you got this hot mom. Now, she's not even single. That's that Lori Lockton or whatever that's in that college entrance scandal, and kind of her daughters that she got into USC or whatever. So she's not even single. But anyway, you get what I'm saying. And I know what you guys are thinking. You're like, well, the single mom, she's hot. Yes. And I can't, honestly, it would be hypocritical if I said, hey, stay away from single moms altogether, because to be honest with you, two of the hottest women that I've been with, not the hottest, but I'm saying like in a group, kind of like maybe like top five, like two of the top five kind of thing, were single moms essentially. So, it's kind of like, yeah, I get it. They're hot and all this kind of stuff, but there's a multitude of reasons. So let's kind of talk about it, of why you should just stay away and just be like, just next them. So for one, especially if they have multiple kids by multiple men, if they're literally willing to have like unprotected sex with a guy and have a baby with them, and then literally like shelve him and get rid of him, what do you think your worth is? You haven't had a baby with her, you haven't had that. She's just trying to prey on you financially, for the most part. And okay, let's think of a reason why a single mom would be single that would be kind of like, well, okay, in this situation it's a little different. Okay, her husband was a fighter pilot and he died in a crash or something, in a fighter jet. There you go. There's a good reason. Her husband was a firefighter, and he ended up in this terrible wildland fire or something like that. And, this happened 3-4 years ago or something, and now she's dating again or something, where it's kind of like not anything to do with her. It was a regular setup, regular situation, and then unforeseen circumstances or some kind of car crash, and her husband died, 4 years ago or something, which obviously there would be baggage that would come with that, but that would be a more normalized situation than these women who are like having kids with guys and then literally being like, oh, he was a bucket of worms. I literally had a single mom tell me that. And then you're just thinking, okay, well, if he was a bucket of worms, then how did you get clear to the point where you're having unprotected sex with them while you're ovulating, and and then you end up getting pregnant, and then you've just shelved this dude or just throw him away. A lot of times you say, well, this guy was bad, or he was a bad guy, he wasn't who I thought he was. Well, a lot of times I'm seeing that women are throwing, like, some of these guys, they're just throwing them to the curb so that they can collect like government benefits and stuff like that. It's actually advantageous for them to get rid of the guy, try to like gain custody, use the kid as a pawn to gain custody, and then get more tax incentives and stuff in a lot of these countries like the United States, Canada, UK. The courts are not set up in a man's favor. It's conditioned to set this woman up, and then there's even rules in certain states where the guy can't live there still. He can't live in the household. So it's just best for them financially to just get rid of him and then just leech off the state, or leech off some beta male that's going to come in and take care of the kids. And it's just like, and you hate to look at it that way, but then you're just like, some of these women, they're so flighty. Their connection with the man, one day they're in love with the man, the next day, oh, get rid of this guy. He's terrible. He's terrible for me. I don't want him around the kids. I'm going to keep the kids. They're just real spiteful, just real mean. You don't want to get involved in that. You can end up ruining your life, like literally just getting entangled in this whole thing. And when I think back on it, some of the women that, let's say, I'd ran across or were talking to at certain points, if I would have gotten my life intertwined with them, whether it was having a kid or dating them long term, getting married, all these kind of things, my life would probably be a nightmare. I certainly wouldn't be traveling around at will and doing what I want and just like going wherever. That's for sure. So it's a tough situation, and I get it. some of these women are hot, you might think, okay, over on the right, let's just pretend she was a single mom and the daughters were old enough that they're in college or whatever, and it's just kind of like they're not of an age that you're going to be necessarily taking care of them. And you think, well, okay, you're in a safer situation at that point. Maybe. But, you get a lot of these people that are flighty. It's just like, why? Guys are easy. And I'm going to make an independent video about this, but guys are easy. In general, the crude way to put it, keep our balls empty, belly full, don't nag, be cool to hang out with, and don't get too fat. Stay in general decent shape, and a guy's pretty much going to stick around and be okay. But these women, they just can't do that. Now, that's the crude way to put it, but ultimately, if a woman is with a man that she's not sexually attracted to, she's a gold digger. Both people need to be very attracted to each other to be in any kind of like cohabitation situation or some kind of marriage situation or long-term relationship. That's a given. And I know a lot of these girls, they try to sit there and say, well, it's not, guys are just about sex and it's not all about sex. No, it's not all about sex. Like, obviously, like, you have to have common interests and like hanging out with each other and stuff like that. But probably 50%, maybe even more, has to be about, if the sex isn't there, if you're not physically, sexually attracted to this person, then you shouldn't be with them, ultimately. But women lose interest a lot faster than men. And more so, I'm seeing it, that these women are so flighty. I mean, they catch a period, whoa, they just lose their mind, You've even seen it where, and I think you guys have probably heard this, is that actually birth control is messing with people's hormones and their pheromones and stuff like that. So let's say a woman could be super attracted to you if she's not on birth control, and then if she goes on birth control, she could actually have a complete different, psychological, attraction. She could just not even be attracted. So men don't go through that maybe as much. Obviously, there are guys that are taking different medications, and that can obviously affect libido and all these kind of things. But in general, if you get enough sleep, you're not stressed out from money-related stuff, that kind of stuff. Those are the kind of, chicks that you'd want to be with. If they're like making excuses all the time, naggy, all this kind of stuff, and then they have kids and stuff, just get out of there. They're doing you, if they ghost you, they are doing you a favor. And that has happened to me a couple times where I was talking to a chick and I got, all about her eyes and the way she looked, and things seemed like it was going okay. And I kind of passed on my better judgment. And then they started acting flaky or that kind of stuff, or even ghosted me. And thank you. That did me like a service, that this person just pieced out. And at first, you go through the rejection and you're like, man, I would have been a great guy for her. Why wouldn't she want a guy like me who's like, like educated and athletic and in shape and all this kind of stuff. But dude, forget about that. Let her be somebody else's problem. Get away from her. And if let's say you're going through a relationship like this right now, and she's a single mom and there's all kinds of weird stuff going on, you're reaching out, and looking at this video for help, bro, you're probably just going to feel a lot better, even if you're partially intertwined, like you're like sharing an apartment together, that kind of thing. Probably better off if you peace out, and just kind of reset your life, focus on yourself, just try to focus on being in better shape, going on some vacations, that kind of stuff. Go to an amusement park, ride the roller coasters, just clear your mind, But at the end of the day, I know, guys, some of these single moms, they're hot, but a lot of them are very high on the crazy scale. They're very high on the crazy scale, and they have psychological issues. If they ditched out on a guy who they had unprotected sex with and had their kid, you aren't anything to them. They're going to use you and lose you, or just financially abuse you. So anyway, guys, what do you think? Have you ever dated a single mom and it turned into a nightmare, or was it good? This kind of thing. So leave a comment below. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel. See you guys later.